Oh yeah, we back, man. Another Road Rage episode, man. And today I'm gonna show you guys how to do a valve spring swap on your LS. Again, we simulating how to do this if it was in your vehicle. So we just picking up from the last video we did, which was how to do a cam swap, or even how to, do your timing on an LS while it's in the vehicle. So that's the reason why this engine's not on the engine stand like a lot of people was asking why. Just because we're trying to simulate it being in the vehicle and show you guys how to do that. Before we jump right into that, man, I just want to say I'm doing this a little different this time around. It is also cheating, but I think this is also a lot easier, and that's why I'm going to show you guys how to do it this way while it's in your vehicle, because it does require a lot less tools. So let's just jump right into it, man. All right, guys, let's just say you followed the last video and you're done with your cam swap. You got your timing set back up the way it should be. All right, and you have not yet put on the valve cover. Well, not the valve cover, sorry guys, but the timing cover back on. You would be looking something like this. And before I go ahead and show you guys me doing it on the engine that we've been using to simulate your engine being in a vehicle, I want to show you guys how this method works on this short block. All right. If you guys remember that if your timing is set correctly, cylinder 1 should be top dead center. And here we confirm it is, so it's 1 and 6. All right, so what we're going to be using is the same timing to indicate which piston is at the top dead center, and that way we can use that piston to hold up the valves when you remove the springs, and you don't have to worry about the valves falling into the chamber, the cylinders. Therefore, there is no risk of you having to remove your heads. The main positions you want to make note of is the 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then once you're back at 12, then you know you're all done. We'll do it one more time at 9 o'clock, right? Without even seeing the pistons. At 9 o'clock, we should have another set centered. 4 and lucky number 7. All right, and so on and so forth, guys. That's pretty much how you want to do it. So now we're just going to go ahead and do it on this engine. And there's nothing much to it. Again, guys, any of these tools that you see me use, there's always a list of them in the description in the video. So just go ahead and click that link, and let's get right to it. So this is how you set this up. All right, guys, so at this point, what you want to do is get the kit comes with a washer and a bolt, and you would just place it like this and screw it down, and what'll happen is it will compress the springs. I like to cheat a lot, you know what I'm saying? So this just means there's less of the way down that I have to go. So I just like to put a socket in between It just lets you bottom out a lot faster. What you want to also do, guys, man, is get one of these magnets. I also have a link in the description for these. That allows you to get the lock clips out a lot easier, a lot faster. Also, even when you're putting them in, sometimes they like to slip and fall out. So this allows you to also retrieve it from the heads. If these are not able to come out, then you haven't went down far enough. Just go down a little bit more, and that's really just it. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and back off the nut. That should bring the springs back up, and at which point we can remove them. Just like that. They're out. What you also want to do is get a pair of pliers, which obviously I didn't grab, but I did have these wire cutters around. And guys, be gentle not to get the valve. Woo, pretty bad storm coming. Go ahead and remove the cedars. Whatever valve spring kit you bought should come with cedars. The Brian Tooley ones that I have, they come in like this. These are the bottom, just the one lip. And these guides for the valves. What you want to do is you want to get a number 12 socket. If you don't, I know they sell some compression tool that you can use to compress these on. If you get a 12 socket, it will go right over this piece here. It won't even touch that, and it will go right onto, and I hope you guys can see this, right onto it, and at which point you can use like a rubber mallet, which is what I use. You don't want to really use a hammer. And again, guys, you don't have to use too much force. This thing will just slide right into place. You will hear the tone difference once it's bottomed out. And guys, be sure to use one with some length. I don't want to say, I mean, this is the long, but use one with some length. That way you're not hitting the valve. The springs. These are the tops. As you can see, they're triple stacked lips. And that orientation faces the spring. You should just have one lip at the top. And again, guys, what I like to do before I re-thread this thing is spray a little bit of lube, maybe before in this case on there, but just to help. And again, guys, this is me being lazy, is why I have this socket going on it. And as you can see, it won't even work. I had a shorter one for this. I don't even remember where I placed it. So we're just not going to cheat this time. Washer, obviously because these springs are a little taller. Just like that. And guys, be careful and really watch the way this is going down. You don't want the valve stem to end up under the binding of the spring when it's compressed. And sometimes you just have to kind of hold it in place. Oh man, it's about to be real nasty weather soon. So you just want to keep an eye out, and hopefully you guys can see that the valve, the stem should come right through the springs. And when the springs are getting compressed and they're binding, sometimes the valve spring, not the spring, but the valve and stem itself ends up in the wrong direction. So you always want to keep an eye on that. Gotta back it out just because the it's kind of in the way. There we go. Alright, it's a lot easier if you just pull up the valves. Just make sure, because like I say, it do drops a little bit. Just pull it up. And the kit, if you bought a kit, should have came with the retainer locks. These little tiny things are a mug. They look something like this. This is the position you want to do it, where the indentation or the groove is up and it has a slight curve to it at the bottom, which is a lot. It appears to be like at an angle, which kind of slanted. You want that going down into the springs. So it should look something like this. At this point, you want to back it out. You also want to keep an eye on these things, man. Because honestly, they like to jump out. So I like to kind of just keep an eye on them and really watch them. And that's why I say you need the magnet. Because these things will jump out. So I like to kind of hold them in place till the spring is up far enough to hold them. And guys, you'll know if it's not right. It won't even go into place like it should. What I always advise is not to have your face directly in front of this thing. If you're like using a power tool where you can quickly remove the bolt, what you want to do is also, or do it slowly like I'm doing. If you just hit it and let it come up. If it is not properly in place, locked in place, what end up happening is that spring could really shoot up if that nut is out completely, depending at the rate that you do it. I've seen it happen. So you want to be mindful of that. So at this point, I can see that it's locked. So we got the bolt off. And before I do anything else, guys, I like to use the same mallet. And this is how to just kind of just double check to make sure it's in place. I'm gonna hit it about 3 times on each side, like really put a little bit of pressure on it. It's a rubber mallet, so it won't damage it, but you kind of like compress the spring a little bit. And if it's not in place, it will If it's not in place, it will shoot out. Again, if it's not in place, those little locks that I showed you will come out when you do this. So that's pretty much it, guys. What you want to do is you want to rinse and repeat on the other end. And yeah, just always be mindful of which where your timing is, so you know which set of springs you need to be working on. If you accidentally make a mistake and work on another set, guys, typically the valves, I haven't had it on any of these, and I purposely tried, right, where any of the valves just fell all the way through. They slid a little bit. I'd imagine if they fell right in, that there's something wrong with the valve holes itself, and they just need to be redone, because it slides. You can tell it wants to go, but the friction is enough to just stop a little bit where you can maybe even grab it. So I have tried to purposely let it down, not so much, but it actually came down. All right, guys, just be mindful of where the timing is and which springs you should be working on. It is easy to, if you forget to just do this and then jump on the other side when you just starting and forgetting that you need to rotate that. That did happen to me at least 2 or 3 times. So I'm just letting you guys know that just be mindful of which set of springs you need to be working on, and you'll be fine. Everything looks good, everything is fine. So until next time, guys, this is how you do a valve spring swap on an LS vehicle. And as always, guys, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, man, so you can be part of the team, man. RaodRG, you know what it is, man. Road Rage Game, and you know, be part of the family.